Okay, let's start. Hello and welcome. I'm Aldis Erglis, and today I will tell you and show you examples and how you can use Microsoft bot framework and some additional services to create a great bots. And I'm a senior system architect at Exigent Services and also a Microsoft MVP for data platform. And Exigent Services is one of the pioneers in the software development in Latvia. And actually, during the years, we understood how to build effective software. And now we look at the possibilities to add some intelligence to the software. And of course, bots is one kind of intelligence. And from some public activities, I'm Riga Power BI Group leader, so it's an official Microsoft Power BI group, and also there is a meetup, Riga Artificial Intelligence, Machine Learning and Bots. I'm also driving this initiative, so to understand what we have in Latvia from the machine learning perspective and artificial intelligence. And today I prepared some storyline that consists of some introduction of current state of bots, or what state we are. We are with bots for a couple of years, but we see not a lot of progress in this field. Let's look at this. Then Microsoft bot framework architecture. What kind of tools we can use, what languages, how actually you can construct bot, and how you can deploy it. And the last point, and maybe this is a core of my presentation, how to put these bots on steroids and create a really intelligent assistant. Because when we call bots intelligent, the trickiest part is this word intelligent, because we even can't define exactly what the human intelligence is. And actually, when we're talking about artificial intelligence or intelligent assistants, we're more talking about how good these technologies are imitating intelligence. And you could check it very easily if you go somewhere on the street. You look at the people that coming to you and look at their faces and try to detect intelligence by yourself. Is there intelligence, or they are just imitating intelligence? Okay, and the first things first. So about what is a current state, and if we talk about what is a bot, actually it's a little bit wider than just chatbots or voice bots. It's some conversational interface. And I like how Microsoft define it, and they call it conversational AI, conversational artificial intelligence. And it sounds really nice. But actually, bots is communication interface that can communicate with us using text, speech, or images, or cards, or special controls. And from the technical point of view, it's just a web service. And you, as a developers, you will see that actually this is usually HTTP endpoint that we could integrate in our applications and even connect to other bots or conversational AI systems. And I like this one event, and I think that then exactly on this event, the modern era of intelligent assistants started. And maybe you recognize this picture. It's from the Apple's event on 2011, and Phil Schiller presented for first time Siri. And he started, and then actually this bot development started because they showed that the bots can use dialogues and support dialogues. And this historical question was, Phil Schiller said, Siri, what the weather is like today? And Siri answered about weather in California, and he asked then, and what about Chicago? And Siri understands that this is still question about weather. That is how it begins. Then, of course, a lot of services, external services started. We started to use with the bots, and I call them, let's say, call it digital steroids, and that will be my topic. And of course, imitation of intelligence, and how bot is good. How good is bot? We could test it by this imitation of intelligence. And there I have, let's say, in Latvia, I think the best and the most promising bot is La Telecom Anete. Still, we are maybe testing it, and La Telecom, they are really invest a lot of effort to make it better. And they, on that one event, they shared the most popular questions that asked to bot, yes? And we see that actually it's very the same for all bots. We actually don't use bots very effectively and even don't try. We are asking them questions like, what is 2 + 2, and will you marry me, and things like that. We are trying to crack these bots. And if we talk about, for example, I have Alexa at home, and we started to use Alexa more than a year ago. And for first days, of course, you play with that and put a shopping list and things like that. And now I have only one use case. For Alexa at home, it stays unused for the majority of time, and there is only one use case. And my 8 years old daughter, she's playing Spotify from Alexa. She asks, Alexa, play Katy Perry. And Alexa answers, playing Katy Perry from Spotify. And because it's easier to use voice over typing in iPad, in YouTube, and especially for English words. What happened most recently, and probably you followed it and you know it very well. So a couple of weeks ago on the Google I/O, Google presented a duplex. A voice bot that can call to customers and ask in a human voice with a very good human voice synthesizer, and ask questions and follow and keep dialogue and integrate. And it is integrated with the systems, and it's quite impressive. Of course, it comes together with some another statistics that 80% in 80% of cases when the voice bot calls you, you drop phone. So if bot call to you and you recognize that it is a bot, in 80% of cases you will drop the phone. That is current statistics. So we have some need some improvement. The second thing, and also it goes together with the idea I will repeat a lot. It's that you need a training interface to your bot. There should be possibilities that you can train bot. You can say what to know. And Amazon Alexa, they launched the custom Q&A a couple of months ago. The idea is that you could at least configure a question and answer. For example, you could put in who is the best mom in the world, and you could provide the answer that Alexa will answer on this question. At its very beginning, a rudimental interface, how we could train them. But of course, we need to go more. We need to possibility that we can train our assistant for the case like, my assistant say, what is time? An assistant will say, come on, you are asking fifth time during 15 minutes, buy a watch. And you don't argue. No, I'm not a Cortana, let me alone, and so on. And we need to teach it to bot. And also, a couple of weeks ago, we followed the Microsoft Build event, and they showed really nice integration between Cortana and Alexa. And Microsoft is doing a lot in field of integration with other technologies. And we saw that how I talk with the Cortana, and I could say, please switch Alexa on. And in a couple of seconds, I can talk with Alexa directly from through Cortana. So it's quite amazing. And if you need some reading for this weekend or some following weekend, I strongly recommend you the newest book about bots and bot training at Human Plus Machine. It's published months or 2 months ago, available on Amazon in paper or Kindle format. And we see here, and we talk usually how machines or how these intelligent machines will work together with human and will replace human or not. And we see from this diagram that actually the human part is very important in field of training and explanation of the results, and of course of taking a decision and responsibility. And we could say that historically there are two types of bots. Some bots are on steroids, which can recognize images and text analysis and things like that, and some feature bots. And we could call them directed or not directed. If we talk about directed bots, what they are, actually they are, you saw the usual application or bot application, chatbot on the Facebook Messenger is a directed bot. So you could try, like, you come to bot and you could write whatever you want, like, dear bot, how are you, and all. They will provide you choices, multiple choices at what you want, eat, drink, sleep, yeah? And you will click on the buttons at very alike, like on this old feature phones with the buttons, yeah? But you are going, and they are routing you through some scenario, pre-built scenario. Maybe not so intellectual, yeah, but works really well, really good. And I tried Remy bot. You could try it on the Facebook Messenger. It looks simple, but works well. And not directed bots, so that they understand human input. They understand what we are saying, what we are writing, and pictures and things like that. And that is the main topic for today. Microsoft Bot Framework, developed a couple of years ago, especially to develop bots. So it's a framework for developers, that the developers can build bots faster, add intelligence, and don't spend time on integration, on deployment, but more spend time, especially on bot logic and additional functionality. And there are three parts of this bot framework: bot builder, bot connector, and developer portal. And bot framework, it's don't try to understand, just remember that bot framework is a part of Cortana Intelligence Suite. And Cortana Intelligence Suite is a collection of Azure intelligence services for different purposes, like machine learning and IoT and data storage and big data, Cortana, and of course, bot framework and cognitive services. If we look at the bot in some X-ray picture, we see that developers are developing code using Bot Builder SDK. And then to this code, you can add some additional services like APIs, databases, services, and things like that. And especially there's integration with Microsoft Cognitive Services, where you could get a lot of additional intelligence, like natural language processing, image recognition, speech to text, and machine translation, and things like that. And at the end, you can deploy it to one of or several channels, conversation channels, like it could be web chat or Facebook Messenger or Skype for business, and other stuff. Of course, in the bot world, everyone is waiting for one more connector. And it's for this application, WhatsApp. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, everyone is waiting for WhatsApp because it's not available for bot development yet, but it will be next and huge step. If we look at the bot builder, there is a couple of options you can use as developer. There is .NET and C#, and if you work on Visual Studio, and Node.js if you prefer Visual Studio Code. Now you could use the both languages. You even can write the bot logic on any language and using Bot Builder REST API. And there is provided the built-in logic for bot development. If you look at the bot on this slice layer view, we see that there is a bot builder for as a base. Then we add some intelligence to our bot. Then we register it to bot directory to be discoverable, and of course create a connector for some channel. And connector is developed to transform the messages from your bot service, which is usually a just API, web API, to the channels that is usually user interface. That is how it looks. It's the same picture, more technical. And of course, the most part we will focus today is on this intelligence part, the steroids for bot. From the code perspective, there is a simple. The first bot you could rebuild your first bot in a couple of hours, even maybe less. There is very easy, and some small part of the code is needed to build a bot, like create a connecting service, load libraries, and create a dialogue. Of course, the core part of each bot is a dialogue. And the dialogue is usually some sequence of activities that you have it like tree, looks like the tree most often. And you could use, and then you write this logic calling each part of the tree. And for the more complex bots, you usually use some collection of conversational dialogues. So there could be many dialogues. For example, if you have more universal bot, you want that it talks with you about technical stuff and culture and anything else. So there will be some different dialogue logic for each subject, and you need to build it and connect between each dialogue. And dialogue, for example, here in Node.js code, you see that how it looks like, that there is dialogue part, and you could write the logic under this dialogue part, and then switch to any and then redirect to any other dialogue part. You can use dialogue redirection. So you just say you have name it dialogue functions, and you redirect to the exact point where your bot, according to your logic, need to go. So you could navigate between dialogue parts very, very easily. And there is the simplest way. So usually every bot starts with that. Is like waterfall logic, that you just have a sequence of activities. Like here, we prompt text like "Hello, what's your name?" and as a result, we can provide this name on the screen, or put another logic, and it will work in the sequence. More technical stuff. There is built in some persistence mechanisms that we could store user data, conversation data, dialogue data, or that is needed to control state of the conversation. And of course, you could use additionally some state functions to fix the state of the conversation. And what else? It's not just text, as I mentioned. You can use at the moment 6 additional visualizations, like you could provide a carousel. It's like choice with the buttons, and provide the buttons and data picker and number input and text input and things like that. So you could control it from the interface side. Of course, it depends on the channel, on what channel you are using. And before we are going to this intelligent part, I will show you how this deployed, let's say. If you use, for example, if you use Visual Studio, you could deploy it by configuring continuous integration or continuous deployment, or you could just publish it to the service. There is some bot example. Or you could, before you publish it, for example, here I write a simple logic in Node.js, and we see that my bot is like 67 lines. And what is happening here, we could see that first I just provide the question, the text about which color, and then as I'm waiting for input, and there should be input like blue, green, and red. And then depending on the color, I will forward it to dialog part, and will confirm using confirm functions that it is yes or no. And before I publishing it, I could test it using bot framework emulator. So I will run it and launch emulator. So now my emulator is working. There is a chat logic, so I say hi, something. And on the left screen, I see the JSON code for request and response, so I could track it and debug it and so on. And it asks me which color. I will say like green. Yeah, it's green, and I need to confirm it, yes. And it goes back, so it's in the loop. And I could play with it whole day, but as you know, we don't do that actually. And there is also, I can see the historic conversations I tried and start new over and test it. If you use Azure as deployment, but you could use other deployment options. So, but on Azure, for deployment, you need API application. So there is an API application, and you deploy the code on this API. Actually, it's a RESTful API service, and we see the endpoint, some additional information about it. And most important, you need to provide application information like Microsoft Application ID and password to call it. But other stuff is more or less very straightforward. And you have this application and actually REST API. You could use it from your application. But if you want to use it within some channel, you need to create this bot channel registration. We have here it. And we see that there is the same endpoint provided, that we provide the endpoint to our bot application. And here we can add additional channels. So currently we have this Skype and web chat, and we can add some additional applications like Slack or Telegram or email. There is some error, but okay. Let's hope that everything will work. And you could test it here. So we have some bot logic here, and let's try it. Hello. Oh, it's working. Hello, I'm demo bot creating and answers. Actually, this answer, if we look at our C# code, here is this answer to this hello. Yes, and that is how we can build in a logic here. Okay, let's go further to the most interesting part. And now, of course, we see that we could simple things, we could get very simple and very fast. Actually, to build a feature bot, let's call it, you could do it if you have all the information like images and things like that. It's a couple of days, you have state-of-the-art bot. If you want to build some, again, bot with a tree-type logic, yeah, it's very easy to build. But it's not interesting, and users actually say that it's not cool, yeah, not so cool. And we need to add some intelligence to our bots that it will imitate intelligence better than we expect. And I provide, let's say, your bot on steroids. I want to show you 6 things that if you develop bots or you will develop bots, you need to take into account. First thing is word2vec. Please raise the hands who are tried word2vec. Oh, good. Only a couple of you, but if you never touched it, try it immediately. It's a very interesting thing. I will tell a little bit more, and I have slides for each of these. Cognitive services, personality chat, conversation learner. So remember, you need to find, and actually it's a next $1 billion idea. It's a quarter of the Instagram price. Yeah, as you remember, Instagram was sold for $4 billion. So next $1 billion idea is to develop the training environment to bot. Yeah, it's an environment that you as a human being, you could say, hey, my bot, I will train you. Okay, master, what I need to do. Remember, when I'm tired, play some music and things like that. And actually, what you need to teach a bot is some that you add to the bot code if-then statement. Something, if this, then that, and maybe even more complex. And you need to add this without programming. So there need to be some training interface. And it will be next $1 billion idea. And then there is another thing. It's a LUIS.ai. It's a natural language processing platform from Microsoft, and Q&A Maker, knowledge-based service from Microsoft. Okay, let's go through. Word2vec. Yes, when we talk about bots, we understand that it must be more contextual, and it should answer to us to the same question, not in the same manner all the time. So should be variants, and it's could be provided with using Word2vec. It's actually some connections between words, and it works like if king is a man, then woman, and it could provide that it is queen. Yeah? Or Riga is a Latvia, then France is Paris. Yeah? And very useful technology. Please try it out. And even this fast text is even more interesting. And your bot need to have this Word2vec engine. Cognitive services. Microsoft provide a lot of cognitive services that is actually pre-trained machine learning or AI networks that you can use for image recognition, for translation and things like that. And usually answer is a JSON file, and you could provide a picture, and it will detect emotions and provide you these emotions in the JSON format. And I want to show one of these services. It's Custom Vision. It's launched a couple of months ago I think generally available. And if you need some image recognition, object recognition network, even especially for demo or for proof of concept, then Custom Vision is a very good option. So how it looks like. Yeah, here it is. So Custom Vision, it's a service, and you could upload starting 5 images and then give labels. Minimum is 5 images. For example, I take pictures of the mug and calculator and put a tag, and then train this network, and it understands that these pictures, they're a calculator here. And how it works, it's trained. You could provide up to 1,000 pictures per tag, and in preview up to 50 tags is supported. And let's try it out. I trained it for calculators, and of course it's available as a service. So if I provide a picture, it will return me a probability of the tag. And let's test, quick test, browse for the image. And here I have a calculator that is not in my data set. Let's upload it. And it uses this network. And you see that 82% probability that this is also calculator. And we see that those of you who are working with a computer vision understand that it's not very easy, because there is a background and other objects, so it's a little bit tricky, but it works. And you could add it to your bot, let's say, and it means that you could train, for example, one of the cases I heard that you could take photos of your children toys, and then children can recognize the names or spelling of this toys by image recognition. Okay, let's look at the next function. And the next function is a personality chat. And there is another service from Microsoft called Personality Chat. And what this personality chat, actually, it's again about diversity, that your chatbot is not answering to the same question in the same manner, depending on the context. And here you have that there is a pre-trained network that is carry out greetings like feedback or opinions and things like that. And there are 3 modes at the moment. I think there will be some additional modes added during the time, but there is a professional, like hello, how can I help you? Something like that. Friendly, hi, yeah, and humorous, yo, yeah, something like that. Let's try it out. And you could use it in your bot as a service and detect the context of the conversation, and then provide what type of conversation will happen. Okay, professional, and I will say hi. And it will answer me, hello, what can I do for you? Friendly, let's try it. Hi, we detected the context of trait. Hey, what's up? Humorous. Hi. Sup. Yeah, you see other options. I like yo most, but sup is what's up. Let's try something else. Professional, I'm hungry. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, come on. Friendly. So I'm talking with friends, so there can be this formal answer. I misspelled. Sorry. Sounds like it's time for a snack. Let's try this professional again. My fault. Sorry. Maybe it's time for snack. And humorous. What do you think? What will happen there? So you are in a good mood and you are talking with a best friend, so you can't answer, sounds like it's time to snack. So there should be something more creative. Yes, and eat food, problem solved. Yeah. And you see the other options that is provided. So that is one of the things that are pre-trained, yeah, and you could build it. It's like, remember Matrix, when Neo said he trained it for jiu-jitsu or something like that, and then he opened his eyes and said, "I know jiu-jitsu," and Morpheus said, "Show me." Yeah, it's something like that. That you added this service to your bot, and bot said, "I can answer according context," and you say, "Show me," and you see it. Yeah, and of course, this diversity will help us develop greater bot software, and people will use it more and more. Okay, let's look to the next. And next is just in preview. That is why I have only slides, and it's Conversation Learner. It's a service developed by Microsoft that when you develop some bot, you test it and then correct, pick some best answers to the questions, and then you provide it to the more larger audience, and again you upgrade it and correct it, but it's usually done manually. And Microsoft developed a neural network that will help you to find the best answer to this question according all the historic questions and answers. And you could use it, that kind of interface, and it works using neural networks. So if probability of this answer, of utility of this answer, for example, is more than 90%, you could update it automatically. That means that a system will find the best answer during the time to the questions. And that is, again, training interface. Remember, as I said, $1 billion idea. $1 billion idea is to create the best training interface. And you will, if you create this interface, Google or Amazon will buy you for $1 billion. And next is a LUIS. It's natural language processing. And the idea behind that computer understands the semantics of your text you're writing. That you don't need to press the buttons like events and music. You can just write, "I'm looking for a song, name it XYZ." And how it works. So if we look at this LUIS, there is a service called LUIS.ai. And on this service, you could create this conversation logic like intents. It consists on 2 parts, mainly. I created a service desk, like additional intelligence to my bot called service desk. And I created three intents: change password, ticket status, and user access. And for example, for change password, intent change password, I provided these utterances. It means that I said that if users say, "I need to change my password," it means change password. And I'm not saying all the phrases exactly, so I provide some logic, and this there will be network that will be trained, and it can recognize semantics and recognize this change password even if I use a different wording. And there is additional entities. For example, in this case, you see there is username. And I could say, can train, say that for user, and then follows username, and bot will know that it should be extracted entity from this username. Let's try and test it. We see that all the utterances, and for example, this user say, I don't have password. We see that there is no such a text, not such a utterancy exactly. And I call it, it says that 95% of probability, we see that this is change password utterance. And we can provide that change reset password for user Alex. And you see that it's recognized, even it's extracted the username from that. Let's see how it works like in bot environment. I see I use it, the published bot I showed to you as an iframe and put in the HTML document. And for example, I say here, and I will say, please be so kind, dear bot, and reset my password for user Aldis. And I put some comments here. Yeah, it recognizes intent, and it recognizes a username as Aldis, and it asks me provide authorization code. So I receive authorization. I have a two-factor authentication here on my phone, and provide a code. And if code is correct, it provides the password to me, like that. And you can train additionally any of these intents, and you see that that is how you can understand the semantics of this of the words or sentences. What is provided by user, but there is some limitations. I need to show you, and limitations is about languages you can use, and I am of course not happy about it because there is not Latvian and Russian languages, and you can see that languages are available for this purpose: English, Chinese, French, Spanish, Italian, German, Japanese, Korean, and Dutch. So that if you need to build a bot using these languages, then you have a really great tool. If not, then need to develop more something. And the last steroid I want to show you is a Q&A maker. And the idea behind Q&A maker that you have questions and answers database, like frequently asked questions. And imagine that using these frequently asked questions, like thousands of them, you want to create a service that can answer, that you could plug it in your bot and use it for answering questions from this knowledge base. And there is an additional service called Q&A maker. Q&A maker. You could register to that and create this knowledge base. There's for some amount, it's totally for free. And for example, let's look at this knowledge base created for today. And I just created the manually that if you ask hello, good morning, or we could add something else like ciao, yo, yeah, yo. It will answer, hi, I'm about to questions about platforming. Yeah, very formal. Yeah, but let's look at this. If we look at the settings, okay, and we want to add some things. We could provide a link to frequently asked questions, several links, or we could provide a document. So if you have a Word document with like question and answer, just upload here. And it detects a question marks at the end of the sentence. That is how it understands that it is a question. But let's take any, for example, we have a frequently asked questions about the bot framework. And you see, yeah, good. Let's take this link and put it here. And save and train. Some magic happening here. Yeah, it usually don't take a lot of time, and we see that we can look at on this question and answer part, and you see that there is extracted all the questions and all the answers. sometimes you need to prepare or make a changes, parse something, but usually it works quite nice. Let's try it. So it's trained, and what is SDK? Okay, it's not interesting. Conversation experience. Let's ask about Skype something. How to develop bot for Skype. And it finds an answer bot for framework that Microsoft products, Cartan Intelligence Suite. And where is the Skype? If there's something is not working so well, we can use some additional information or try it out. Let's ask about SDK. Yeah. So we see there is some answer about both. There is this answer about SDK. And if we look that it is okay, we could add additional documents, additional links. We can add some additional question and answers. And when we are ready, we just push a publish button. Let's say publish. And technically, it will be published to our this Q&A service, search service, and will be indexed using Microsoft indexing services. And we even can provide that it's supported in multi-language. So we can provide many languages, like even Latvian. Currently, it's English, only English. There in my setup, but I use it in Latvian, and it works really nice in other languages. And what you have as an output, you have a HTTP endpoint. That means that you could use this. You could integrate this Q&A service in any your application. But I integrated in my bot. So if we look at this code, I provided that. Usually my bot works with this LUIS service using intents. But if I will provide this words like Q&A knowledge base, it's like password to start using this Q&A. And let's open our bot here. And I say, switch to Q&A knowledge base. And bot answers, I'm ready to answer to the questions. And when I put SDK, it will use this Q&A service. And SDK. How to develop a bot for Skype. Okay, and it oh no. Yeah. Okay, it's demo effect. Yeah, and that is how you can add more intelligence to your bot. Let's say put it on the steroids and imitate the intelligence better. Thank you. That was all what I want to present to you today.